running with Nick, the watermelon.
All right.
Why is he running?
Good midday, people. Welcome to our show. We do these shows everywhere from Canada to Florida, and we are always asked 2 questions.
Are you crazy?
No. Remarkably few people ask us that. The first question is, are those swords real?
Okay.
We'll put it down though. The answer is they are not sharp, because we are not stupid. But they are still big long pieces of metal.
Say goodbye to bed.
And a stomach is about as hard to cut through as a watermelon, and you can see that it has no problem whatsoever, other than getting my sword dirty, going right through said melon.
Poor Vic.
Yes.
He had such a young life.
You can take him away if you wish. So, not sharp, but still big long pieces of metal that can hurt. The second question that people ask us so often is that really how they used to sword fight? The answer is no. They used to kill each other. And we're, again, not stupid. However, starting about the year 1300, people began writing down instruction books on how to sword fight. We can read those books, do what the books tell us, and sword fight in the style they did, just hopefully not ending up like the melon at the end. So what we're going to do for you today is some examples from these books we've read, starting about 1300 and ending around 1600. You want to talk about it?
I am.
Right.
But we want to do an example of a stage sword.
Oh yes, we want to do a stage fight first. You're right. I always forget these things. All right, this is a not historical fight. Not because they're married. Historically married people have always fought. Get him! Ow!
Ow!
Not out of the ring. Nope. Nope. I win. Not often. I win. Alright, so that was an example of a not very historical fight. But now we are going to start showing you some historical examples with the oldest one we have, which is my wife's favorite, which is why she will talk about it.
Our 2 combatants today are going to give you an example of the sword and the buckler. Buckler is a small shield, ranges in size. You can put it right at your side so you're ready for action. They're going to start in 2 things known as guards or wards. These aren't stiff positions people stayed in, they're something that people transitioned through. Now the reason I really like this one is it's the oldest European sword manual we work from. Number 2, it's taught in a church school, probably for going on pilgrimage and making sure that you stayed safe. The third reason I like it is a historical sword manual that features a woman by the name of Walpurgis. Now whether it's the saint or whether it's actually a non-named Walpurgis is still in debate, but nonetheless it does feature a woman sitting there with her skirts hiked up, still sword fighting with her peers basically. Now what we're going to start with is something called underarm, which is something he might drop into. He'd have it right under his arm. And our friend Jose will be starting from something known as half shield. Now what we're going to do is we're going to show you 3 examples of falling under the sword.
Shall we do it for the other side of the audience as well?
Very short, very deadly, and you're going to see a lot of that today. No extended sword fights. Yeah. Now for anything they might do, there's always a counter maneuver. Another thing you're going to see a lot of today in today's show. Yep. So what he do, suppressed it, came over, shield up, and he cut. Now if you get close together, this is another maneuver you're going to see a lot of today.
Ready?
You
skipped ahead! You did skip ahead.
Try number 3 again, please.
Let's do that again. And if you skip ahead again, I'm going to make you pay.
I know it hurts.
There we go. This is grappling.
I wanted to skip ahead.
This is why he wanted to skip ahead, everybody. Now let's show them what happens if you try to skip ahead again. Ready?
So So if you know what your opponent's going to do and you're better trained and you're a little bit faster, you're going to have the advantage. Now, you didn't always have to hurt your opponent. Sometimes you were in a sword school and you wanted to embarrass your opponent. So these are examples of embarrassing your opponent. We're going to use what they call disarms.
Ready? Shall we do that from another position so that other people can see?
Now!
As you can see, when I grabbed the hold of his sword, he came across it with his buckler. When he came across it, he then raised his sword to me. I already had my sword in my other hand.
He still has control because he can move me back with his shield.
Now, Jose is going to use a classic fake move where basically he says, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm such a sloppy swordsman. Oh, I couldn't possibly defeat you."
Ready?
Using something called fiddlebone.
I got him this time. Ha! Whoa! Whoa!
So if you are willing to grab your opponent's blade, you can have a lot of advantage there. We can tell you more about that after the show. But from here, we're going to go right into...
Actually, we have one more maneuver.
You have one more maneuver.
We have one more maneuver. Let's see what you can do. Let's see if you can make any good of underarm.
Yes, I can.
Really? Let's see.
No. And of course, you could just end it right there.
That would have been my sword going across.
We call that the medieval drive-by.
All right, the next sword we're going to show you is the one-handed curved sword known as a falchion or messer. The manual we're taking this from came from a priest named Lecoutner in 1473.
Priests were much cooler back then.
Now, the book said, my wife told you how historical sword fights were very fast. That's true. According to Father Lecoutner, what happens is you put your swords together and almost every fight ends with, after this happens, you stab them in the face. However, that's not very interesting. So we're going to stitch together a whole bunch of his examples, which goes on far, far longer than a real fight would. All right, now's the time.
Come on, let's go. We tried to get audience volunteers.
All right, the manual written in 1473 says, have some friends in the audience with a giant bag. Throw your opponent in the name of God. Then sit on them and play backgammon. So apparently the priesthood 600 years ago might not be what it is today. But anyhow, that is an example of the falchion. Where'd the second one go? Oh, all right. Already pointed. Long sword. Yep. You want to talk or you want to? All right. All right, the next one we're going to show you is a long sword. It comes from a book written in 1570 by Joachim Meyer. It's a sword that could be used either one or two-handed. If you're fighting someone in armor, you might want to put your hand on the end to aim for the holes in the armor and push it through. If you're fighting someone without armor, you might want to hold the sword in two hands, as Dave and Cara will demonstrate.
Came to the bind in the middle, and when we paused, I just used the guard on the weapon to knock her sword aside, twist it around, and struck her in the side of the face. But nearly every move has a counter if you're prepared for it. She felt me start to move, and just casually lifted her sword up, let me throw myself out of the way, and dropped down and struck me between the eyes. Ow. But I have something for that as well. Instead of waiting, if I feel her start to lift, I can just flick her over this way instead, and again, twist her around and strike her in the air.
Do that once more.
We gotta do it the fourth one. All right. Oh. Instead of passing back and forth that exchange, Sometimes you just want to get in, grab them around the arms, and throw them on the ground.
Great stab a lot.
Yes, thank you for skipping that part.
All right, hold up that one. All right, now what we just showed you came from 1570 in Germany. The same year they were using this type of sword in Italy. It's a much faster, bendier sword known as a rapier. My wife and I are going to demonstrate some techniques from a swordmaster named De Grassi, who wrote a book on this in 1570. Now, he wrote 2 books. The first was called The True Art, which was what to do in a fight for your life. The second was called The False Art, which was what to do if you're showing off in front of people. Well, since you're here...
You gonna run it through?
And as he said, of course, if you're fast enough to take the other person's sword away, you're fast enough to kill them. And if they're trying to kill you, kill them first. Now, the next sword we're going to show you is an English sword. A manual written by a man named George Silver, who hated this weapon. He said it was far too bendy, because if you try and block with it, you don't know where it will stop, and it might stop inside you.
He instead favored a thicker sword like this, which had also a cutting edge. As you can see, it doesn't bend as much. However, it's still light and fast. It was also nicknamed the mortuary sword. Theories abound as to why it was called this.
Don't theorize, sword fight.
All right, sword fight.
Let's talk. Okay, see what she's in? Wall of steel.
Actually, I believe we want to go the other direction. Better vantage point. Shall we then?
Oh, you got me.
Ha-ha! You see, as she stabbed, I just parried her to the side and was able to grab her arm. You have your dagger.
Have mine.
I have mine.
Now we want to be in this.
No, you want to be on that side. Whoa!
I think I win this one.
Yeah.
So what happened there, Devin?
What happened there is
got him.
when I came all around to the side, she was able to hold my sword at bay. Thus, I was only able to block with my dagger, which allowed her to twist her sword into my neck. Oh, I could definitely use a longer, faster sword.
That's cheating.
Which I can beat you with.
Got that.
Ha!
See?
Reach has absolutely nothing to do with it if your opponent is crafty. She used the dagger and the sword to pin my sword. As you can see, I can do that. And she was able to get inside me and possibly even inside this armor.
There you go.
Alright, the next one we're going to show you is a sword called the Dusak, very popular in Germany in the 1600s. It was a curved one-handed sword, much like the falchion we showed you earlier. Now, we don't have any good examples of the Dusak. We think they might have been made of wood or leather, because very few have survived, so we're going to be using an 1800s cavalry saber. It's the wrong sword, but we'll use the right techniques with it. As you can see throughout history, if you overbalance yourself and reach too far, your opponent can make use of it. Alright, we've shown you a lot of swords and bigger weapons, now we're going to switch to some of the smaller ones. You want to do that one first? Alright, we'll do this one first because it's out here. This was a medieval dagger. They're extremely nasty. They were made for punching through armor. They're very hard to stop.
Wait a minute, how could that punch through armor?
Nice of you to come out and show us, Devin.
Wait, what?
You can use it like a lobster pick. You put it in the cracks and crack it open and then just hammer it in with a nice big pommel. These are too dangerous. We aren't going to use it. Instead, we're going to use some rounded versions, which are much less pointy than this. But it will be the proper techniques. German?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to be showing you some from Germany in 1570.
You want to try that with a weapon now?
I think I'd like a weapon now. Okay, I'd like to keep my arm.
Yeah, if I'm fast enough, I can get under her arm, pull down, and break it. If she's quick, she can choke me out.
And she's down.
I'd like to try that one again.
Down again.
I don't want to see this again.
Let's see it again! Woo! Come on, everybody, let's see it again! Third time's a charm.
Alright, those were some examples of some German dagger. Now we're going to show you some Italian dagger by a sword master named Fiore. One of the interesting things about the Italian school is they sometimes have mismatched weapons, like dagger against sword or dagger against nothing at all.
And Fiore emphasized a lot on speed. Be faster than your opponent and use your techniques to increase that speed. Faster? Defend yourself! Oh, sure! Should I let him go? Should I let him go? Please! No, I gotta use him later for another show.
Can he be wounded?
When you're walking around a medieval town, guards generally don't like you walking around like this. Go figure. So you're usually required to keep your sword sheathed. The only problem is that if you're carrying your sword, I can talk. Yeah, you can. If you're carrying your sword sheathed, and someone has a dagger, they can sneak up on you before you can draw your sword. Master de Grassi has a couple of ways to defeat that. First, in parade carry. Oh, parade carry, come on, what do you do? Hey! What? Whoa! Shall we turn around so the others can see? Pokey, pokey. So what I did there is I used my sheath to pin his arm, and then I turned him into shish kebab. Try that to be fair. Okay, I can get you from your camp. Let's turn so the rest of them can see.
Looks like a tie to me.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to lose my Ghiblies. I don't think you want to lose yours either. I have no particular attachment to them. I've heard that about you. Anyways.
Yes, we have another show. Alright, so we've shown you some German dagger, we've shown you some Italian dagger. Next we're going to show you some Spanish dagger. This one comes from a manual that was written about loan sharks in Spain and what they did to collect their money. Keep it in the ring. Yeah. Alright, the last of the small weapons we're going to show you is the medieval lawnmower. In 1550 there was a book written on how to fight with the sickle. This is something you won't see with any other group because our group paid to have it translated out of the medieval Latin. So anyone else who can speak medieval Latin can read the book yourself. One of the things you'll notice is the smaller the weapon, the more grabbing there is, and dagger and sickles are both very small. Ow! Now the book says, she swings at my head and I block, I swing at her head and she blocks, and then it says, she skins my arm. It does not say block, it says hit her in the head. So I guess in Germany in the 1550s there are a lot of guys without skin on their left arm. This one, it says she tries to cut off my arm, but I get to block and hit her in the face, which she blocks, and then it says she, quote, cuts at my loins. I've gone through 3 pairs of pants practicing this, but it does say block and hit her instead. Ow. And of course, one of the moves in there is you don't even give the other person a chance. They swing, you start to come forward, and they just slam you in the chest, which is remarkably effective even when you're somewhat larger than your opponent. Alright, okay. Alright, for our last weapon, we are going to show our biggest. It is known as a bec de corbin, which means raven's beak, because they thought the hook part looked like the beak of a bird. I'm not going to argue. This is another weapon that is horrifically dangerous, and so we will use safer substitutes, namely rubber ones. But trust me, it still hurts.
Yeah, it does.
Now, just before they start, I will point out that Dave and Cara here actually read the book that this is from and interpreted this work themselves. So this is their own personal historical research you're seeing.
Or an argument at home.
Or both.
As much as this is a large weapon that could give you a long reach, a lot of the book talks about using the entire weapon. The hammer, the hook, the point, the butt, the center. Center's pretty useful too. Let's try that again. Just grab her, cross the shaft across, stick my knee behind, and toss her over my head. We should show him that one again.
We should.
Oh!
Or not.
Stay up.
Guys, usually you fall down on that one.
Nice.
Right around the back of the neck. Show them that one
That's
again?
unpleasant.
Yeah. Show them that one again.
You have to.
Yeah. Oof! Counters for that one too. Just struck mine aside and stabbed me with it. I think I can get another way. Let's try that one again.
Okay.
That looked painful.
Yes, and the next panel in the book shows her drawing a dagger from the back of her belt, dropping to the ground and stabbing me in the... Uh-oh. Yes.
All right, that'll complete our show this afternoon. Thank you all very much. We are doing another one at 2 over there, one at 4 in the pub. At least I think that's it, and I don't have it backwards. If you have any questions about this, our booth is right there. By all means, come by and talk to us. We love answering questions.
Yes.